Hi, remember me? For those of you who are new, I am Lisa and this is my channel, Cross by Floss, where I chat about cross stitching and my love of cross stitch. And it has been a while since I have been on. Like, when was the last time I uploaded a video? Was it like October? Early November? I don't even remember. I just know that it's been a while. Life. So, but it's okay because I am back today. And today is a Flosstube Extra. So, anyways, if you are new, I hope you love what you see. Find a little humor in stuff and, click subscribe, like, ring the bell, do the things. And for those of you who are my sweet returning viewers, thank you so much for sticking it out with me. It has been kind of a roller coaster year, and I'm really hoping that next year gets a lot better. So that's the hope anyways. So today I am going to do a Flosstube Extra. I'm sorry about my chair. I'm in the middle of reconditioning it and I've stained it, but I have not put the seat back because I don't have the fabric on that I want. And so it shifts. It is what it is. Sorry. Mr. Odin isn't with me today. He's fine, but he is hanging out with Mr. G. And so hopefully I can get through this video without any puppy interruptions. So, all right, well, today is a Flosstube Extra. And I am going to talk about my stitching free plans in 2023. That's going to be, I think, the title of this video, maybe Stitching Free in 23. It was catchy. And so I am going to talk about my plans for 2023. Have you guys been watching all of the planning videos and whip parade videos that have been, being put out in late November, early December, like all of December, and I'm betting a whole huge amount of them coming out in January as well. They have been inspiring, right? Like it's so fun listening to other people's plans for their stitching year and what they're gonna do, and the whip parades. I mean, inspiring, right? Like, you just want to go out and go, I haven't seen that pattern before, and start shopping. I've done a lot of shopping. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah, it's fun to see what kind of progress has been done in the whip parade videos and stuff. I am not going to do a whip parade video this year. If I do, I won't be doing one for this year, for 2022. Reason being, I didn't work on a lot of my whips this year. I had a lot of new starts, but I didn't go back to a bunch of my whips and put any progress in them at all. And then of course there was life changes and a move happened, and I was pretty much out of commission for about almost 5 months. And so, that takes a lot of stitching time away. And yeah, so, but now, because my life has changed and I am not watching a little anymore and I'm not working currently, I have a lot of free time. And so I sat down and I thought about what my 2023 was going to look like. Now, I reserve the right, as always, to change any of these plans. Nothing is set in stone, because I am a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl, and it is what it is. Okay, so also, if you're new, this is really going to be a talking video, so I hope you grab some stitching or a craft and a drink. I am having an adult beverage. By adult, I mean I am having my flavored coffee water with a little adult additive in it because I feel like it has been a rough week. But it's really, really good. So I hope you, grab a drink, grab whatever craft you're doing, sewing, stitching, whatever, and crocheting, whatever. And just join, and I hope you enjoy. Anyways, okay, so on to some plans. So I have been thinking about how I wanted to approach 2023 and decided that some of the things that I had done in years past weren't really working for me. And unfortunately, one of those things was WIPGO. I think the WIPGO idea is a fantastic idea. However, I think it might be me, and I don't like to be put in a box, which is funny because WIPGO is whatever you make it, right? And so the first year I did WIPGO, I put in, several of my WIPs that I wanted to do, or maybe a new start, or like a Christmas ornament or a Halloween ornament. But then when those numbers were called, I didn't really want to do them. And or I ran out of time to do them. Either my goals were too high for the lifestyle that I was living at the time, or I'm not really sure. But I failed WIPGO the first year, fairly miserably and fairly early. Like I think I made it 3-4 months maybe. So then the second year I was like, okay, revamp. I listened and watched several people who were doing WIPGO and what they were doing and everything. And I'm like, I can adapt my board to, some of those things, because again, WIPGO is how you make it. And so I was like, okay, so I put very, like mirrors on there, like I didn't even say which mirror. I just said pick a mirror, right? And then I was going to work 5 days on that, or do all one color or whatever. Okay, and then it came to that. I didn't do that either. So it was a really generic board. I lasted a month longer in that WIPGO, but again, failed miserably. And also probably because of my life changes, mid-year, I really wasn't going to focus on WIPGO. So I've decided that while I love WIPGO, I love the idea of WIPGO, it isn't for me. That's okay. And so I won't be doing WIPGO, but I am going to cheer and applaud those of you who are either a pro at WIPGO and continuing it, or somebody who's new to WIPGO and starting it for the first time. I'm in your corner. I love seeing what you do, and yeah, but not for me. So I have to look down at my notes because, oh man, there's a long story to that too. So, and part of not doing WIPGO also was I had the feeling myself that I was failing myself. And when you start beating yourself up about, why didn't I have time for this, or I coulda, woulda, shoulda, right? And so, and I was just making myself feel bad about a craft that I love. And that's not the intent. So, yeah, I just feel that I'm going to cheer you on. Okay, so then looking and thinking of the WIPs that I have, which most of them are still packed away because I have not unpacked. Like you see my craft room, it's still semi-disorganized. Yeah, that's also another story. But I wanted to come up with a plan to actually put stitches in the WIPs that I had. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be stars, and we'll talk about that soon. But I need to go through all of my WIPs, decide what I'm going to want to continue stitching on, and get rid of, whether they're going to be like just passing it along to somebody who wants it, or if it's small stitches in there, tearing it out and being able to reuse the fabric. Whatever the case is, not doing the WIPs that I am no longer inspired to do, and or I just don't love anymore. So I have a lot of WIPs, and I had a lot of starts this year, which became WIPs. So so yeah, I need to figure that out. Yeah. So one of the ideas I had was Jen Lee. I remember her Flosstube, I'm sorry, but Jen Lee, I don't even remember what her Instagram handle is, but if I remember, I'm going to link things down below when I can. They might not be there for a few weeks. But she does this 24-hour acrostic, I think once a month, maybe it's once a quarter, I don't know, but I see it quite a bit. And then she also does a monthly acrostic, and I love that idea too. I've been watching it for a couple of years now, and I think it's a really great plan. Again, for me, that's too tied down for me. Apparently, I don't want to boss myself. I don't know. So I thought that I would do a version of the 24-hour acrostic, and what I'm going to do is once a month, I am going to do the 24-hour acrostic, but over 4 days. So I'm going to do it Friday to Monday, and I will work, what is that, 6 hours a day. I'm going to pick out 12 of my current whips, 12 of them, and for that month, and I am going to put 2 hours each, 2 hours a day in each one of those whips. So they will get 2 hours of love, each whip, 12 of them. That's the math, right? Pretty sure. And so I'm going to do that, and that way whips will actually have something in them. And once I have rotated through all of my whips and done some stitches on those, or if they're getting really close to a finish, they'll come out the next month for the 2 hours and just continue until it's done. If I feel inspired to do it. It might not, but throughout the year, I don't have more than 12, 24, I can't do that math. 12 times 12 is what, 144? I don't have 144 whips. So, you know, some of my whips will get touched several times throughout the year, which is fantastic. So that is what I'm going to do, 12 whips once a month for 24 hours, working on them for 2 hours each. So I feel like that's kind of like a different take on the 24-hour acrostic for me. And I think that I can do that. I think that seems fairly reasonable, and it will get my whips out. So that sort of makes me happy. Okay, and then I'm still going to do Mira Monday and Mira May and Nora November. So those will always be something that I am going to be doing well, Mira Monday every Monday, which unfortunately, if you have, there's a hashtag on Instagram, Mira Monday Stitching, and unfortunately the last few weeks, maybe even a month, I have not been on top of that. Again, life, and so in 2023 I intend on being much more present and getting in that every Monday morning and posting Mira Monday stitching and stitching that Monday on a Mira and showing the progress and all of that. So so that will be a lot of fun. And then what else am I thinking of? Let's see here. Sorry, notes. It's being bad. I also will be doing, every Sunday, I want to do sampler Sundays. So I have a love of samplers. I actually have purchased many antiques samplers, and which really need to go up on the wall, though I don't think that they'll go in here. The sun comes in really bad and they're already damaged enough, and I think that they'll probably go in the hallway. But I need to get the samplers up too. Anywho, Sampler Sunday, I would love to pick a sampler each Sunday and put some good stitches in that. So that's kind of one of my Sampler Sunday Mira Monday, and then of course I will be continuing on with my Queen of Peace until she is done. I did put a little bit of progress in her in December, and I will be uploading a video shortly on the progress, though there was not a lot of days stitched because I went on the truck. And that's a story. That is a story, you guys. I will be going back on the truck tonight to go back, hopefully, to actually get to Washington this time. It's a story. That'll happen in an update video. So yes, Queen of Peace, Sunflower Sunday, Mira Monday, and then Mira May and Nora November. Those are fairly set in stone for me, along with the 24-hour acrostic, my version of 24-hour acrostic. And then once a week, Amy from Fiber Arts, Amy and I, we get together and we stitch on Garden Beauty from Mirabilia together. And unfortunately, because of the holidays and my schedule, we haven't been able to do that. So I'm looking forward to, in January, picking her back up. I miss her, and I miss Amy, chit-chatting with Amy. And then Sarah from Memphis, Sarah and Amy and myself are going to start Forest Goddess. Is it Forest Goddess? Let me double check. Yep, Forest Goddess. And we're going to start stitching on her together. And if you have her, we welcome, please get her out and put some stitches in with us. That would be awesome. Okay, the other thing that I really would like to do is Halloween stitching. So Janet Jabber and Laura from Stitching by the Shore, both were doing a Tiny Modernist, I think it's Halloween calendar, and I ran out and bought it as soon as I saw what both of those wonderful ladies were doing with that chart. And I thought, I want to get all 31 of those little blocks done for October so that it will go on my tiny Halloween tree. So I have a big Halloween tree and I have a tiny Halloween tree. And I think I'm going to make them into tiny ornaments, different. Each one of them will be a little different, and put that on my Halloween tree. So I really would like to do that. And if you're not watching either one of those ladies, actually, if you're not watching Fiber Arts Amy, Memphis Sarah E, Janet Jabber, or Laura Stitching by the Shore, you should be. They're all really wonderful, wonderful floss tubers and have great stitches to show. I also want to do some Christmas stitching throughout the year. And I have a bunch of Christmas patterns, whether they're Prairie School or Santa's, or there's a bunch of little house needlework patterns that I have that are Christmas related. I have quite a few Christmas things, much more Halloween, but I do have quite a few Christmas. And so I'd like to get some Christmas stitching out as well. So that's something else on my bucket. I also am going to do the monthly postcard series from Wendy Petras from the Heart Needle Art. Oh man, Wendy, did I get that right? From the Heart Needle Art. She has a series, a monthly series that are called the Postcard series. And anyways, they're really beautiful. And I decided to do those on perforated paper that I did some staining to. It's really cool. And I did a lot of trial and error before I decided what I was going to do. I've been working on kind of how to do antique looking perforated paper for about 1.5 years now, and I think I've perfected the technique that I like and works for me. And so I want to stitch the postcard series on that, and so that's also up for the year. And then in February, Dawn Marie from DM's Crafty Vortex is another Flosstuber. If you're not watching, you should. She has a sidekick, Anna, with her as well, that is now in her videos, and they're so fun together. I enjoy watching both of them. And but Dawn Marie decided that she wanted to do a Fancy Lady February, and I think that that's a fantastic idea, and I am going to join in on that as well. So in February, Dawn Marie has a video that explains it. My take on it is going to be once a week I am going to either pull out a Fancy Lady that I already have started, or get a new Fancy Lady, because most of my Fancy Ladies are Nora's or Mirabilia's, and I have other patterns like Joan Elliott and Lavender and Lace, and off the top of my head I can't think of any others. Oh, Bella Filipina. You guys, have you seen the latest 2 releases? They're fantastic, and they're in my cart. So that's the intent, is I will either get out a whip or I will have a new start on a Fancy Lady for Fancy Lady February. So I think that's super fun. In addition to the things that I'm doing for, you know, I'm just gonna kind of adapt. And then each month I am going to do a version of what Gary and Ronnie from Garon Stitchery do. They do is it a spotlight on a stitcher? I'm sorry, no, a spotlight on a designer spotlight series, something like that anyways. And I think that this is the second year that they're doing it, and each month they call out a designer, and then you pick, do they also do a pattern? Or you can pick a pattern from that designer to stitch through that month, and I think that that's fantastic. And so I'm going to do a version of that myself. My version is going to be whether I have that designer as a whip already, or I have things that I have wanted to start and have kitted up already from that designer. I'm going to have a start. So the difference is that everything is going to come from my own stash. I'm not buying anything for a specific designer in any month. If I don't have that designer, I haven't put her or him on my board. So my plan for January is a Kathy Barrick. I have several Kathy Barricks. I have one that's so super close to a finish, and maybe I will get that one out, and that would be a finish. And how fantastic would that be? Or I have several of her patterns that I am dying to get started, and I just haven't. February is going to be a Lizzie Kate. I have tons of Lizzie Kate patterns, because when she stopped designing, or she decided to sell her business, and now 123 Stitch owns the rights to her patterns, or distributes patterns. I don't know. I'm not a pro, you guys. When that happened and she announced she was no longer, going to do Lizzie Kate, I went out and bought like all of Lizzie Kate's. It was gross. And so I have a lot of Lizzie Kate's, and very few have been started again. So I thought I need to get those out. March is going to be Hands Across the Sea designs. I love Hands Across the Sea, and I have picked up several, whether they are alphabet samplers, or I have a lot, whether they're in PDF form or they are in booklet form. I have a lot of Hands Across the Sea, and again, very, very few of them started, so that needs to be a focus. April is From the Heart Needle Art. I have a really cool Halloween sampler, I think. It's a sampler from Wendy that I really enjoy. I love the witch faces in it. And then I also have a couple of her samplers, the newer samplers, and they need to come out and be done. Plum Street samplers. You guys all know my love of Plum Street samplers, and a really sweet, kind, generous stitcher in my community just sent me a Plum Street sampler pattern, and I'm going to start that. So that's going to be in May. June is Country Garden Samplings. I love her patterns, I do. And I have a lot of them too. And you know, she came out with a new series, the Santa, snowmen. The snowmen, I love snowmen. Snowmen are adorable, especially snowmen with penguins. I love snowmen. And so I am interested in that series. I don't know that I will do it because I don't have any of it, but I do have several cottage garden sampling patterns. So that was June, right? July, Little House Needleworks. Again, I have a lot of the series for Little House Needleworks. Very, very few of those have been started. August, Heaven and Earth Designs. I have a ton of Hade patterns. And I started Anne Boleyn 2 years ago, and she hasn't been stitched on since. And that is just wrong. So I need to get either Anne out or Henry VIII or Elizabeth. I have several of those. I have shoes. I have landscapes. I have, oh my gosh, I have so many. I have an old world map I'm dying to get done. I mean, these are going to take me like forever to do. And I'm okay with that. So August, Heaven and Earth Designs. September, Jeanette Douglas. Oh my goodness, I have so many Jeanette Douglas patterns. They need to come out too. October, Blackbird Designs. Again, I have several whips of Blackbird Designs started and absolutely nothing done. So, and I just keep collecting all of the blackbirds because I was told by all the blackbirds. November is Country Cottage Needlework. Yeah, that's it, right? So I'm going to pull those out as well. I have lots of those as well. And then December is Scarlet House. So like I said, all of those will be done with things that are either in whip status, have kitted up, or can kit up very easily because I have all of the items for them. So that is what I've got for my monthly kind of designer. I don't really want to call it a series because, again, I reserve the right to change any one of those designers. But if you are interested in stitching along with me any of the months for any of those designers, I would love for that to happen. Okay, and then of course I still have to organize my craft room, and this is my craft room that holds cross stitch, scrapbooking, crochet, and sewing because I really want to learn how to sew, and I'm setting it up so that it's nice. And but I need to get my floss and fabric and patterns all under control in here. Oh my gosh, it is getting super dark, isn't it? Just hang on, I'll turn on some lights. Goodness, hopefully that's better. So again, organizing the craft room and getting, you know, lights and things, and that's part of it. And then I'm hoping to get a tour done in early 2023. That is the plan. We'll see if it happens, but that is the plan. It's kind of a focus for me, and plus I need to get organized. It's I need to get my whips out of boxes. I have a lot of crafts in the spare room that need to come out and say hi. I also have a few retreats scheduled for 2023, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also hoping to find either some Zooms or lives to join, and and be part of the Stitchy community that way. Kind of looking forward to that as well. And then yeah, I will have an update video here shortly that will be uploaded on the 31st on my Queen of Peace. So that's something to look forward to. And then I will be back mid-January with a updated video and chat, and it will probably be long because my haul is disgusting. Long story short, just a small little snippet. We got caught in the really bad weather that happened in Nebraska, Utah, Wyoming, all that area. It was awful, and we got caught in that when we got on the truck for Christmas, and so we were behind 5 days basically, and I shopped. I went out online and I did a lot of retail therapy, and it is all been arriving and it's really gross. So I will have, it's going to be a long video. I have a lot to show. But most of all, as I reflect on 2022, I just really want to thank you for being a part of my stitching community. I have made some fantastic friends in 2022, and I am hoping to add more friends in 2023 in the stitching community. And I enjoy making the videos to document for me, but also to be able to, reach out and connect with other people who love cross-stitching as much as I do. And I think it's an amazing thing that happens when we all get together. So I'm really looking forward to that. So anyways, I am gonna close. I am wishing you all the happiness and such good health for 2023. And I hope that you enjoy and come back and watch and connect and make comments. It's another thing in 2023, actually answering my comments. That's going to be a focus as well. I really slipped in the last few months, and that's kind of inexcusable. You make the effort to make a comment, and an effort should be made to respond. So that is something that I am looking forward to doing as well in 2023. So I wish you all the happiness in 2023. Happy New Year, and I hope to see you soon. Hugs and stitches.